we don't have just one mindset. We have mindsets depending of what we are doing, the circumstances where we are. Is that dance between a stability, but a flexibility that we have to learn to play with and have fun with to amplify our possibilities out there. So I see mindsets are habits of mind. That is really why I wrote the book.
Expanding possibilities, the mindset.
I'm your host, Ana Melikian, and my mission is to support individuals and organizations to increase their impact while avoiding burnout. If you want to work smarter, not harder, I can help you. If you want to go from burnout to full engagement, let's talk. Reach me at Ana, A-N-A, at mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com, it's .zone. You can also access all the episode notes, links, and other amazing resources at mindset.zone. Today, we have a very special episode because this week I release my book, The Mindset Zone. On Tuesday, the day of the launch, I had a Zoom launch party where an amazing group of individuals got together to celebrate with me the launch of the book. And one of the questions that the MC of the event, my dear friend and colleague, C.B. Bowman, the founder and CEO of the Association of Corporate Executive Coaches, she was the MC of the event, she asked me why I wrote the book, and I decided to do this podcast about it. And if you listen to this podcast in a regular basis, you are going to love the book. It took me a long time to put it together, and now that it's out in the world, out in Amazon, I'm so proud that in this first week of the launch, we were number one in several of the new release lists under organizational learning, organizational behavior, the 2 Hours Business and many short reads. And we were also in the top 5 of the bestsellers lists. We were number 1 in organizational learning in the bestsellers list, number 4 on organizational behavior, and number 2 in women in business. And one of the things that I cannot still wrap my head around, we were number 4 in the bestsellers in business teams alongside incredible classics. Classics like in number 1 is The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, Radical Candor, Leaders Eat First, the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, Good to Great. So having my self-published book alongside these other titles is absolutely amazing. And it's only possible because I have the support of my community of listeners of this podcast. This is an episode about the book, about why I write it, and hopefully will give you also ideas on how you can expand your mindset and try something new. And of course, always welcome to get my book.
Ana, why this book? Why at this time in the world? And why at this point in your life?
I was fascinating my mindset. I start my Mindset Zone podcast 10 years ago. Mindset was already a popular term at the time, and it's becoming even more popular now. And there is this beautiful diversity of definitions about it that I think in one side for our day to day is wonderful. Every one of us can have a different definition of mindset, and if we embrace it and we make it work for us, that is the important thing. And at the same time, from a more academic perspective, is, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? It's a challenge, and how do I face that challenge? And as a background in academia was seeing what are the research out there. So that seeing the diversity even within mindset experts of how they define mindset, that was the beginning of my journey for this book. Let's see what is out there in terms of research on how to define mindset. And there are these three big buckets: people that see mindset as beliefs, as core beliefs, and the work of Carol Dweck that is really influential, of the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And positive psychology is a lot about seeing mindsets as core beliefs. That is really a very important thing. Organizational psychology sees more mindset as lenses, as worldviews. And then in cognitive psychology, in very much research oriented, they see as information sets. That is a different way to look at it. But then, so I wrote about those three approaches in the book. And then, okay, how do I bring this together in the day to day to explain to people? And I always, it's my default thing, I go back to the etymology or to the origin of the words. And mindsets, the origin of the word has to do with habits of mind. Is the habits that our mind create consciously, unconscious habits that we create as we go along. And for me, the important thing is that we don't have just one mindset. We have mindsets depending of what we are doing, the circumstances where we are. And we have to, is that dance between a stability, but a flexibility that we have to learn to play with and have fun with to amplify our possibilities out there. So I see mindsets are habits of mind. That is really why I wrote the book.
And in one of the chapters, you talk about the P.I.E method.
Yes.
How does the P.I.E method relate to the mindset zone?
Yeah, because so if we consider mindset as habits of mind, we can change our habits. But to change our habits, if a habit serves us to a point, but then stop to serve us in the moment that we have in our life, we have the power of changing it. It takes some work because that is the default mode that we have. And to make that work happen, we have to dedicate like our mental gym activity. We have to dedicate some time for that. And there are many amazing programs out there to help us to upgrade our mindsets. I consider the 7 habits of highly effective people are a great roadmap for doing that. And the positive intelligence, another great roadmap for doing that. And so many others out there. And when I was looking, teaching this and speaking about this, I noticed that, or the challenge was, what can I teach in a talk that people don't need a cheat sheet, they can memorize, and there can be a catalyzing for any mindset work they will do in the future or any personal development work. And I came to the conclusion that if we learn 3 things, we make all the programs work better. And what are that 3 things? Is the P.I.E method, P-I-E. Making the pause, creating moments of pauses. Because that allow us, it can be a macro pause, like a coaching session or a retreat. We are taking a big chunk of time to pause and to reflect on our worldviews, on our beliefs, doing changes. So making a pause. But that pauses, if it's just that macro pauses, then we lose, it doesn't become a habit. So we have to create scheduled pauses to become part of our day-to-day, the morning ritual, the journaling, the gratitude. So it's a way of bringing that pause to the day-to-day to become a habit that allows us to develop our mental muscles in such a way that when we need it most, that is that in micro moment between we get triggered with a stimul and we are going to react, but then oh no, I can choose something different, a response. That's what I call the micro pauses, is when we will be ready for it. So that moment of pauses and honoring the P is fundamental, in my opinion, in any system that you follow. Then the I is a common thing about increasing our self-awareness. We have to really increase our self-awareness about our feelings, our thoughts, our behaviors. Mindset usually is very much associated with the thinking heads up. But there is always, I always like to see 3 dimensions in the triangle: thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, because a triangle, if it loses one side, ceases to exist. So they always have a reflection in the other sides, in the other dimensions. And it's important to increase our self-awareness of at least these three dimensions in our lives. And then the E is to embrace the experimentation. Because if you are doing experiments, all the information is welcome. Even when you don't get the expected results, there is no failures, just new information to learn from. So that is, in a couple of minutes, the P.I.E method. And I think is the key to unlock our potential and allow us to work on our mindsets.
So, Ana, there is a theory that if you repeat something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Is there one section of a mindset zone or a shift in your mind that you would recommend we focus on for 21 days so that it becomes a habit?
So first, that research is a little bit an internet myth, not really, how to say, but repetition, let's take the essence of it. Repetition is a learning mechanism to repeat things, repeat the right things, because you can be repeating the wrong message and you are creating the habit that you, so we have to be careful with that. But to practice, to creating some kind of practices that really ingrain something is, but in which area, it really depends of what is important for you at the moment. If there is a universal or something, is always a good practice once in a while when in that moments that we have, we can pause and reflect, think about learning something new. Learning something new is a great way of always amplifying our worldview and our mindsets. So keep learning, the beginner's mind. If I have to recommend something more universal, is cultivating the beginner's mind.
Okay, thank you. So, Ana, where can we find this incredible book that'll allow us to change our lives?
So is in Amazon. I was saying that was not going to happen, but it happened. Is in Amazon.
Yes, it's in Amazon, and I create a short link for it. So you just have to go to mindset.zone/ebook, and we'll get you in Amazon where you can get the ebook or the paperback if you prefer. So I would really appreciate if you get a copy of the book. And of course, if you leave a review there in Amazon.com, will be wonderful.
Expanding possibilities. The mindset zone.
Thank you for listening. And remember to follow this podcast. And if you're listening in Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. That really help us spread the word about the Mindset Zone. Also visit mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com is .zone. There you can find amazing resources and more information about my speaking and how I support purpose-driven individuals and organizations increase their impact while preventing burnout. As always, I'm so grateful that you are here. Expand what's possible for you, for the ones around you, for the world.